royal fans are convinced Meghan Markle is lying about her age. In fact, they think she's older. And not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her.
Whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secret. But a lawyer says Meghan didn't lie. Well, extraordinary how the whole thing is unraveling.
And yet they don't produce.
I'm not happy with what one of my daughters is doing. And I don't know what caused her to do this. We've had this conversation before. She's telling lies.
They use their friends, their lawyer, academics who have always backed their side.
What if the biggest problem isn't what Meghan did, but when she did it? That's what everyone is talking about tonight. A royal writer named Tom Bower and an old teen magazine found something weird. There might be 6 whole years missing from Meghan Markle's life story. Not 6 months, 6 entire years. According to official papers, Meghan is 44 years old. She was born on August 4th, 1981. That's what the palace says, what fancy books say, and what fan websites say. But then Tom Bower found a 1997 magazine on page 90. It said Meghan Markle was 21 years old. Wait, that's a big problem. If she was born in 1981, she would have been only 15 in 1997, not 21. That's not a small mistake. That's completely different. Now here's something else. Her own dad, Thomas Markle, quietly said the dates he remembers don't match what the palace says. Age problems. Birth stories that don't make sense. Hospital timelines that doctors say couldn't really happen. If her age is wrong and her birth story doesn't add up, what else in this princess story got changed? Keep reading because once you see this proof, you'll never see this princess story the same way again.
And it would only make sense that she might lie about this. Would it be such a big deal? Is it true? Well, thankfully, Steph the Alternate has compiled a slideshow. Let's actually get to the truth of this issue. And it's a surprise. Here we go.
When people hear Meghan Markle's name, they think of the good stuff. The actress from Hollywood, the woman who fights for women's rights, the person who married a prince and changed the palace. Everything looks perfect on the outside, but the paperwork is starting to show problems. Meet Tom Bower. He's not some random person making videos in his basement. He's a real writer who reads old records instead of just sharing stuff online. Then there's Thomas Markle, the dad who remembers school plays, acting tryouts, and graduations because he was actually there with his video camera. One side has the official royal story. The other side has a father's memories and an old magazine page. One says born in 1981. Another says she was 21 in 1997. Dad says, "That's not what I remember." Wait, what's going on? And when that's already confusing, Meghan's story adds something else. A fancy royal birth at Portland Hospital with candles and special medicine, then somehow back home to Frogmore Cottage in just 2 hours. Doctors keep saying that's impossible. It's not just one weird thing. It's a bunch of weird things. And in royal stories, lots of weird things don't happen by accident.
A lot of people, though, say that Samantha Markle had since revealed Megsy's true age in her court documents as part of the defamation suit against her that's happening. This is false. Here you can see that Samantha is 58 years old, born in 1964. The court documents from Samantha, she confirms there is a 17-year difference in age, which would make Meghan's year of birth being 1981. So,
first, the magazine that nobody could ignore. March 1997, a magazine called 17. Teen girls were reading it on the school bus with no idea they were holding future royal drama. On page 90, there was a tiny sentence, Meghan Markle, age 21. But here's the problem. If she was really born in 1981 like the palace says, Meghan would have been 15 that spring. Not 21. Not even close. That's a 6-year jump. You don't accidentally add 6 extra birthdays like collecting stickers. And this wasn't written after she became famous. This was printed way before anyone knew about a Duchess of Sussex. So now the question is, who got the age wrong? The palace, the magazine writers, or Meghan herself?
So when Meghan came along into the scene, I just thought, this is fascinating. How is this going to play out? To tell the truth, I spoke to very few friends of Meghan because she put a fatwa on anyone talking to me who she could.
Next, the father who remembers his daughter's whole life. Thomas Markle doesn't need the internet to remember his daughter's life. He was there. He bought her first car, paid for school, and watched her work hard to become an actress. But the ages connected to those memories don't match the royal story. Graduations seem off. Those first big acting jobs sound like she was older. Parents might forget what year you lost a tooth. They don't forget 6 whole years of your life. And when a father quietly suggests his daughter isn't as young as the palace claims, people on the internet don't ignore it. They pay attention.
Are you worried that Harry and Meghan might end up suing you for something you say, given you know they're very friendly with their lawyers, aren't they?
Well, they can sue me, but what are they going to get?
Then there are 2 different birth years that don't match. The official story says born in 1981. That makes her 44 in 2025. It's on royal papers, in documentaries, and in every nice biography. But if she was really 21 in 1997, then she's not in her mid-40s. She's almost 50. And in Hollywood and royal stories, 6 years is a big deal. It's the difference between being young talent and getting too old, between having a baby in your late 30s and having a risky pregnancy. You're not just changing a number. You're changing the whole story. And all of this becomes even more important when we look at Portland Hospital.
6 hours of lives. They would be absolutely hounded out.
No balance.
Not in a balance, no truth.
Now, the birth story that sounds like a made-up movie. In his book, Harry describes when Archie was born like it was easy and relaxing. Candles, exercise balls, 2 pain medicines, then somehow they were home at Frogmore just 2 hours after the baby was born. Doctors and nurses read that and almost choked on their drinks. Pain medicine for birth doesn't work like getting extra coffee. You don't say, "Give me another one." It's 1 tube that gets adjusted the whole time. What Harry described isn't what really happens in hospitals. It sounds like a movie script. And here's what people forget. If Meghan was really in her early 40s, not her 30s, this birth wasn't easy. It was automatically dangerous.
High risk.
You can't beat the real story. I mean, that's the excitement of writing these sort of books, that in the end, nothing beats the truth, the real facts.
Now, I hear lots of people, I disagree with them, but I hear lots of people saying, oh, what more damage can he do? But I think you think this book could be even worse.
And finally, the timeline that doctors say is impossible. Just driving from Portland Hospital to Frogmore Cottage can take an hour, sometimes longer. But Harry says everything happened in just 2 hours total. The birth, resting afterward, checking the baby, all the paperwork, getting dressed, plus that 1-hour drive. Oh, and this was after 2 pain medicines. Most women with pain medicine can't feel their legs for at least an hour. Mothers with risky pregnancies stay in the hospital for days, not minutes. So when doctors look at this timeline, they say it's simply medically impossible. And somehow, that wasn't even the weirdest part.
Family, everybody is exposing the lies that she's been telling. And it would only make sense that she might lie about this. It wouldn't be such a big deal.
Once those details hit the internet, social media did what it always does. One tweet said, "So she was 21 and 15 at the same time? Multiverse of Meghan confirmed." Another said, "2 pain medicines, home in 2 hours, risky pregnancy. My doctor just quit." A TikTok creator showed a video of Harry describing the birth, then paused and said, "My sister's pain medicine took longer to wear off than this entire royal story." People on Reddit made charts showing both timelines side by side, the 1981 version and the 1975 to 76 version. Everywhere you look, people keep saying the same thing. I'm not saying she's lying, but the math doesn't work. And honestly, would you believe her if you saw that video? Comment below. Because when the proof is this clear, magazine pictures, old photos, Google Maps, hospital rules, it's not just messy feelings anymore. It starts to look like detective work.
So let's examine what's out there. This is a copy of 17 magazine, and it was published in March of 1997. In it, it mentions our Megzy is from Los Angeles and that she was 21 years old at the time of publication.
This isn't just gossip about a birthday and a baby. This is about whether we can trust her. If your age is unclear, if your birth story sounds fake, people stop asking, is she misunderstood? They start asking what else was changed. Hollywood loves drama, but it hates unpredictable drama, the kind where proof keeps showing up from old files and hospital records. Inside the palace, the problem is even bigger. Royal reputations are based on official records, church papers, court announcements, and official lists. If one duchess looks like she's playing around with the timeline, it makes the whole palace look foolish. Because this isn't just bad publicity. If doctors are right, and that birth timeline really couldn't have happened the way it was described, then somebody chose looking good over telling the truth. And once people smell that, trust doesn't just crack, it completely breaks. And we still haven't even touched the biggest question.
Described herself as Caucasian rather than biracial. Everyone took this document as being real. Well, if you think that, you need to keep the same energy.
This isn't the first time a glamorous story fell apart because of boring details. Tiger Woods had text messages. Armie Hammer had screenshots. Famous people fall not because of the big headline, but because the proof won't go away. Here, the proof isn't spicy messages. It's dates, numbers, distances on maps, and medical rules. If a 6-year age difference can quietly sit between a royal biography and a 1997 magazine, if a dangerous birth can be made to look like a relaxing spa day with an impossible 2-hour timeline, then you have to wonder, if they can hide 6 years and smooth over a birth, what else do they rewrite? The pregnancies, the health problems, the we almost didn't make it stories that made people feel sad and made headlines. Because some parts of life are written permanently, birth certificates, hospital records, old magazines. And some parts are written in pencil, easily erased and redrawn to fit the new story. Right now, Meghan's story looks like both. And the more people look closely, the more those pencil marks start to show.
I think there's a lot more about the whole institutions of British government. And I think something of the Queen as well. I mean, what he's...
So let's sum this up in 3 sentences. A 1997 magazine says Meghan was 21 when she should have been 15. Her father's memories don't match the fancy palace timeline. And a royal birth story sounds like a script that doctors say couldn't happen. What do you think? Is this one big misunderstanding or a carefully edited story that finally leaked? Write your theory in the comments. Age, birth, or both? Which part do you think is the biggest warning sign? And if you love cold serve scandals, subscribe. This story is just getting started.